Thank you for tuning in to TalkWad.com, the world's fastest growing internet radio network. Please check out all the other great shows on www.talkwad.com.
Good evening. This is Papa on behalf of Nene, who should be here shortly. And this is another webisode of the Ain't That Some Shh show. Now, I know a lot of you are recovering. You're recovering from your hangover. I'm not talking about alcoholic hangover, although many of you might be. The hangover, the Super Bowl hangover. I know that here we make a big deal about the big game. And it actually turned out to be pretty decent. You know, they played some lights out football. The lights actually did go out during halftime show. It got off to a rocky start. Ravens, they were pounding the Niners up until the end, and the Niners made it. They made it into a game. It was an exciting finish, and hopefully this February starts off as exciting as that game ended up being. Of course, it is Black History Month. I just thought about that. So that should be pretty interesting if anybody if anybody's into that. I'm trying to think of some other things that are coming up in February, in the month of February. Yeah, that some people are into that Valentine's Day, but you know, there was something right on the tip of my tongue. And I hate it when that happens. When you have an idea to say something and then it just leaves you. There's probably a name for that. But you know, I want to give a shout out to uh Frodo, the engineer tonight. Frodo. Check out his show. It is on what day is his show on? I think it's on a Sunday.
I'm on Sunday nights at 10 o'clock on nerdcoreradio.com.
And there you have it, folks. I want to also give a shout out to Janet from Insight. She's very, very kind lady. I believe her show won an award recently. They started doing awards here at the Talk Wide Network. I want to give a shout out, of course, to Nolan Ray and to who is the CEO of Talkwad Radio. And I want to give a shout out to Mama Bear. Does she go by Mama Bear on radio? Is that her radio name? I'd like to give a shout out to her as well. And January, it's gone pretty quickly for this year. It seems like the older I get, the sooner things just go by. I mean, I remember, kicking off the new year, I was thinking of some things to look forward to, and now it's like, wow, you're looking forward to things in the year, and before you know it's like it's already there. And it seems like I don't know if I'm just getting old. I do forget what I want to say at times, but ain't that some show? It's really a show that is centered around, you being able to share your thoughts, of the things that have been going on in your life. Some of the both negatively and positively has been going on in your life. And if you want an opportunity to vent about, some of the drama, some of the things that you might want to get off your chest, the phone number to call is area code 727 493 2055 for the Ain't That Some Radio show. And it feels good. It feels good to be here right now. Personally, I thought about it. There's a lot that has been going on. You know, a lot of the negativity, a lot of but there's a lot of positive things too. I think that you know, normally for the past few episodes, we've been talking about uh, you know, shootings and things, but I think that we have enough problems to not have to be concerned with you know, things of that nature, and it's just sad when it intrudes in people's lives. Um, you know, the other day, what was it? The other day, um, I mean, you know, I just think about things like thoughts just come into my mind. If I probably need to write them down, but you know, we have all this technology, we have all these things that we can really benefit from, but yet we don't really use them to our benefit. We use a lot of the things that we have. Like I see so much potential for the things that we have to be used for good, and it's just sad that the things that we have aren't used to the best of the capabilities. So I guess the real issue is that, you know, mentally we don't really think like that though. We think we think about instant gratification, or we make long-term decisions based on short-term feelings. You know, a lot of people, you know, freak out and get angry, and the next thing you know, they make decisions that drastically changes their lives and other people's lives around them. And you know, that really isn't, you know, that's not really something uh to be proud of. You know, a lot of the things, see, there's a lot of things going on, but I kind of want to stray away from a lot of the negativity that has been going on. But at the same time, if you have anything that you would like to share and get off your chest, you know, I don't want to elude you that opportunity. I want you to have the opportunity to share it with us as well. So if anybody's out there listening, again, the number is area code 727-493 2055 for the Ain't That Some radio show. And right now, you know, it's a funny thing. You know, I get all these ideas and things to discuss. Of course, I've been teaching myself music theory. I've been teaching myself you know, how to learn bass lines, cadences, a lot of different terminology. It's like learning a new language. And you know, I realized that living in the information age, a lot of times we want people to show us things that we can really learn ourselves. If you have an interest for something, the information's out there. It's just a matter of how bad do you want to learn it. It's a matter of becoming self-reliant. Um, because knowledge really is power, especially when you learn how to apply that knowledge. Um, what was it? What was it that I saw? I saw something, but I may have spoken on it in the past. Spoken on it in the past about something about the difference between talent and skill, and how you can be born with talent, you know, natural talent, and then when it becomes a skill depending on your work ethic, depending on how willing you are to put the time to develop what you already have. And it's just incredible when you see the transformation taking place. Um one of the coolest moments, I think, that you can witness of when you observe things, when you see other people. One of the coolest things is when you actually see someone realize the potential, when they actually actualize something that they knew they were capable of. I think when you actually see people have a dream and they actually accomplish it, or actually accomplish things beyond their wildest dreams, I think that that's one of the coolest things. Um, I actually, you know, come to think of it, I want to give another shout out too to one to the How Did We Get Here show, because they're pretty cool people. But I want to give a shout out to Mr. Mention as well, because he actually he's going to be having an opportunity soon to audition for uh I believe the X Factor. And I mean, the guy, he's a very talented artist. I love hearing him play and hearing him sing. And actually, that's something that you should check out. Uh, you should check out their show as well. If you don't watch it live, you can always check out the archives. Remember the How Did We Get Here show. And then, I think that's one of life's questions, one of life's most important questions. Um, the engineer Frodo, he was on the, I believe, the most recent episode. So you should check that out and see his journey on how he got here. But you know, a lot of times I think that we get so caught up in the BS, we get caught up in the obstacles that sometimes we lose sight of the destination, and we forget that it's not so much what we're going through, but it's where we're headed to that matters. So where we're going to, that is of the most importance, because sometimes adversity builds character. And I was reminded of that when watching the Super Bowl, and I saw how, even though the 49ers did ultimately lose, how they fought back and they made it into a game. Um, this is this is something that we hear time and time again, or we hear similar things, but to actually watch it, to actually experience it, to actually see it take place in front of your eyes is it's pretty amazing. And the Ravens, of course, they didn't give up, because they could have lost that game. And they didn't. The pressure was on them, and they kept it going. They kept the show in spite of the 49ers, when the 49ers started catching up, and they brought it to within a touchdown. And they didn't give up on the game. They kept their game plan, and they made things happen. So when we have that kind of mentality, I think it really shows us what we're capable of. Um, like, for instance, I'm something's coming to my mind. That's coming to my mind is when I was in high school. Actually, I was taking a Spanish class. Now, if you ask me to speak Spanish, my enunciation isn't the greatest. But when it came to written and oral tests, like when I was studying, I could understand some things. And I remember we had an interim teacher who told me that I wouldn't make it far in her class, because, like, we had a disagreement, and she told me that I would basically fail a class and then walk out. And I did feel like walking out, not because I didn't think I could handle the class, but because that really that bothered me. That made me angry. But anyways, I ended up passing that class. I ended up getting a high B. I probably could have gotten an A if I had to apply myself more. But I proved to myself, and I proved to that teacher, that even though they thought I would fail, that I succeeded. And a lot of times, there's going to be people in life who are going to doubt you. And a lot of times when people doubt you, it's not actually you they're doubting. They're placing their own inadequacies on you. And that really is some right there. When people, they don't believe that they can do something, and then they place their own shortcomings upon you. That's one of the worst. That's one of the ugliest forms of projection. And I'm thinking, it's early. It's February the 5th. Right now, February the 5th, 2013. We're still early in the year. What are some of the things that, not just some of the things that you're looking forward to? What are some of the things that you've done so far this year? This year, I started late last year, so I guess it's not really. But this year, I think I've made some steps. I've improved with sound engineering. I mean, it was something that I didn't know that I could do. And it's something that I've gotten better and better with. over time. What are some of the things that you didn't believe that you could do, but found out differently? You found out better. Like, what are some of the things that people told you that you couldn't accomplish, but you turned around and you proved those people wrong? Because it's cool when people are supportive of you and you make things happen. That's a wonderful feeling. But when people doubt you, when they tell you you can't do something, and then you do the very thing that they say you can't do, that's also another cool feeling. And in some cases, it might feel even more cool because you're facing adversity, and in spite of that adversity, or in spite of people's doubts, you're achieving what you set out to achieve in life. And I mean that's a good feeling. I mean, you've got people who are musicians. As a matter of fact, I was told, I met a gentleman the other day. Um, there was a musician who, and music ran in his family. His father was a guitarist, but I think when he was in his teenage years, he was just playing around one day, and he ended up getting hurt. He broke his arm, or it was something bad, and he couldn't play anymore. So the time that he couldn't play, the time that he couldn't really be active, the whole time he spent home, he pretty much practiced, on the guitar. He practiced on the guitar, and now that guy he's doing it big in music. I don't remember what his name is, but he um he was involved. He hated country music, but ironically enough, that that's what he's doing now. He's involved in country music. And sometimes when you have misfortunes, sometimes those misfortunes can turn out to be good fortune. Like, I'm reminded of a story of a man who wanted to he wanted to serve in war to help his tribe, but he fell off his horse and broke his leg, and they considered him unlucky. But then, when his tribe went to war, everyone was obliterated, and they considered him lucky. So I don't know if that's really that might not be the best example. It's probably a morbid example. Actually, I wish I could have thought of a better example, but sometimes misfortune turns out to be a good fortune. But you know what? I'm gonna have to start to Another thing I'm gonna have to start doing. I'm gonna have to start organizing my thoughts. Like when I get thoughts throughout the week, I'm gonna have to start organizing them and putting them down on paper, because that's really a lot. There's a lot that can be talked about, but a lot of the times, I could tell you, you know, some of the things that I've experienced, some of the things that I've learned during the week. But I really like to hear. I like to hear from some of you, like, some of the feedback, some of the things that you would like to hear us talk about in the future. Well, I say us because usually it's not just me. Usually that's a co-host here with me. But because I know there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of things on people's minds. A lot of things going on with the economy. There's a lot of things going on with politics. There's just so much going on, and I know that there's a lot on people's minds. There's a lot on people's plates. And if you have anything that you want to share, or any thoughts that you would like to speak on, you here's your opportunity. But like, there's a lot of things that I've done over the course of my life that I never thought I would be sitting here, in a studio doing live internet radio. I never thought when I was in high school, actually, and this is before I started teaching myself music theory. I never thought I would, win an award in high school for my compositions. Like, there's just so much. There's just there's just so much that I never thought that I would be doing, and it made me realize. Even though after I won the award, I kind of did get arrogant. Uh, you know what? I hear something. I hear somebody approaching, but it made me realize that that I was capable of more. And and we got a guest today. This looks like you look like you're related. You look like somebody I know. Well, we want to call we want to call them by their radio name though, because we don't want all the male viewers and stuff to be hitting them up, you know. Yeah, but and this is we want to introduce themselves. No, you're not in trouble. It's not. It's really not that big of a deal. It's pretty. No, you'll be fine. But here's my lovely cousin, Maria, and you're my cousin too, right?
Yes.
Why don't we let you introduce? Don't be afraid. Don't
My name's Nicola.
Nicola. And I talked with and then of course we know the co-host who's she's hiding from everybody. She must be like, forget this. I'm just gonna chill. But yeah, I mean there's a lot of what are some of the things that you would like to talk about? Y'all want to talk about anything in particular?
Well, this is the first time here, and not first I get an understanding of what's really going on here.
Well,
But
this is the Ain't That Some radio show. And basically, it's just an opportunity for people to share their thoughts. It's an opportunity for people to vent or to talk about, some of the that's going on in their life. Uh, but it's an opportunity I think really for people to get things off of their chest because that's a lot of things going on. Like in past webisodes, me and my co-host Nanae, we've spoken a lot on the shootings that have been going on, which is unfortunate. But I kind of wanted to change it up today because I mean there's so much negative, like there's so much going on, like with the economy. There's so much going on. So many people have things on their plate, and it's like every episode we bring up the shoot. Like we know there's so much bad news out there, and it's like it's a part. I want to bring up some positivity, but at the same time, we don't want to prevent people from being able to, if something's bothering them or something that happened they want to share, we don't want to stop them from being able to get it off their chest. So, basically, that I've been kind of. I mean, I don't have like a direct topic, but I've been kind of like letting people know, what we're really about because I think a lot of times, I think a lot of people we've gotten some callers in the past, but I don't think a lot of people, really understand what the show is about, and it's just an opportunity for people to share what's on their mind. Yeah, that's basically. Yeah, that's really what it is. I just try to put a positive spin on it, but really that's really what it's about because sometimes it's like when you have too much pressure, eventually people will blow. I mean, if you take a cup and you just keep filling it with water, eventually it's gonna turn over. I mean, have some you have to have release. I'm not saying I'm Dr. Phil or anything. I'm not saying that, I'm 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 a psychiatrist or anything, but if something is going on in your life and you want to share it, I mean, what a better it's a pretty decent opportunity, because we have things that we all have things that go on in our mind from time to time. Like sometimes I know there's a lot of people going to college right now, and there's a lot of people graduating from college for fields like they're getting, all these high degrees, but then when they graduate, they have a difficult time finding jobs in that market. Are you aware of that? Like that's that blew my mind. Like you have these intelligent students and everything. As I was watching something the other day, and like they were smart people, but they couldn't find jobs in the field that they were working towards. I mean, ain't that some right there? Like we live in a land of opportunity, right? We live in a land of opportunity, and like the whole purpose of getting an education is so that you can get a good job. But then when you finish with your education, you got people living in cars. I mean, what's up with that? What do you think about that?
Well, my name is Marie, and I'm from California, and we also have those issues. I do have two sons in college, and I'm not sure what the outcome is going to be for them also. But it's a struggle these days. Today in the economy is very hard. We're in competition with young and old. So the thing about life is in general is just to get out there and hustle because nowadays you're not there's so many other nationality that are competing with us, so you really have to be on your toes. And like my oldest son, he's getting ready to graduate this year, and he's finding that it's very hard even now to just search out what he really wants to be involved in, which is I guess type of business. And but at the same time, he just keep prayerful, keep hopeful, and he's gonna get out there like everybody else and just do what he have to do. And there's no stopping him. So it all depends on what you really, really want to do. How much fierce do you have about it? How much do you in your heart? How much do you want it? So I really believe that he's gonna get out there and be very successful.
Cuz that was really insightful. Like listening to you speak made me realize something too. Like we have all these issues, and during the time when people should be coming together, it seems like people are doing things to tear the communities apart. Like they're doing things to hurt people. A lot of people don't have like you instill those positive values into your son. A lot of people don't have somebody to really be there to instill those positive values. And I can tell just from observation and listening to you. I mean that what you're saying is I agree with it. And I mean that's actually a positive outlook because you're right. Because with outsourcing, especially when they outsource jobs, you know, because in other places in other countries, people will work for less. People will do the same jobs for less money, and it's just unfortunate. With the way the economy is and the way that the job, not just the job market, but then with the crimes with people doing these things. And this is a time now more than ever that I think America really needs to come together. But instead of coming together, like you have all these issues, and it's like we're being torn apart, and not everybody has. See, your sons are fortunate that they have that foundation, that strong backbone, because
Hmm.
everybody doesn't have that.
You're right.
Not everybody had, because I've been around, some of the things I took for granted, because I was raised by my grandparents, and my aunts they helped my grandparents out tremendously. So you can say that they raised me too, because they chipped in tremendously. And then, I think about this, like when I used to go to school in high school, I'll be talking with, some of my acquaintances or friends. And I remember one time I mentioned, okay, I mentioned something. It came up. I get 3 meals a day, and they like, you get 3 meals a day. Some of them, when they came home, they didn't get a meal,
Hmm.
so they didn't
That's
have that
true.
that. And I'm thinking how much we take for granted, and maybe this will wake us up. The more we realize what we have, not just what we have, but what we're losing. Maybe the more we realize what we're losing, the more we realize what we actually have, and start to appreciate it. Because I think a lot of times, for whatever reason, like people don't appreciate, like who goes on somebody. You have to be a lunatic. I know this is old, but nonetheless this is still relevant. Who goes on somewhere and just randomly just start shooting innocent children? Like who goes around and does that? Like people don't think, and that they're inconsiderate of others. There's a lot of people that are inconsiderate of others. They don't think things through, And it's like, we just take things for granted, and I think now is the time to learn the things we take for granted. We can't take it for granted that we're always going to have shelter. There's some people that I've met younger than me who have lived in their cars.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So some of the things that we take for granted, we have to learn. Um, we have to learn that they can't be taken for granted. But with all the problems, have you seen any solutions to any of the Like, what do you think are some of the measures that we can take to kind of help? Because with the job market, I mean, you have more. I think what it is there are jobs that are more in demand than in supply.
Solutions. A lot of prayer right now because it is very, very hard, like you said. Um, a lot of community outreach programs, I guess, volunteering. Um, um, it's hard to say because you need money to feed your family. You need
Hmm.
money to take care of your bills. I have a friend of mine that has just graduated from college and she's in debt, $100,000, and her major was political science, and she is now a waitress.
Yep.
So I wish I knew the solution. I don't know what to tell her. I mean, I know she needs to work. She's got to support herself, but it's very hard. I don't. I wish I had a solution.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Like, I was talking to one of my friends, and she's like, she owes some. She's in debt, and it's like, you have these people going to college and getting an education, and it's like that. Oh, we got. It looks like we got a caller. But you have people in college trying to get a good and caller, you on the air.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Hi.
I'm fine. My name is Carrie.
Oh, it's nice to meet you,
How's
Carrie.
everybody?
I'm good.
How's
Hi. Can I get your name?
It's Carrie,
Carrie? Yeah.
Oh, hi, Carrie. This is Nicola.
Yeah, this is Marie.
and this is Papa.
This is Papa Who?
Well, my radio name is Papa. You can call me Will. You can call me Will Caller, and we appreciate your call. Any thoughts that you have on today's segment?
You have to refresh my memory on that one.
Well,
So
well, we've
I
been
may just have.
well,
Go ahead.
we've been talking about how you have people who the job market and the economy, for one thing, is very cutthroat right now. Like, it's very difficult. We mentioned the outsourcing, and then there's people who are graduating from college now, and then they're heavy in debt, and they're working. They're working in jobs, but they're not working in jobs that they aim for when they went to college. And see, we're trying to think of some solutions to these problems. And I was listening to Marie here, and she makes a lot of good points. She's very insightful, and it made another thought come into my mind that a lot of young people at home, they don't have the type of direction that her boys have from her. A lot of people don't have that, and that it's like problem on top of problem on top of problem. And what we're here, we're trying to discuss some solutions, but it can be hard because before we can find solutions, I suppose we have to examine the problem and then examine the source of the problem. So Carrie, what are some of your thoughts on some of the things that we've talked about?
Well, I think if a lot of employers will take the time to educate and are willing to train people that doesn't have the experience so that they does, that way they can make a good and honest living, because you have a lot of people that's out there searching and that's been out of a job for 2, maybe 3 years that doesn't have like the experience that they're looking for. I remember when I first started working, employers was like training left and right. But you don't have a lot of people that's willing to do that.
I
And
agree.
that's what makes a
True.
problem.
That's true.
Because you have people that graduated from college, but yet still they don't have the experience. So
Yep.
either way it goes, they may have a master or bachelor's behind their name, but where lies their experience?
You're
So I think
exactly right.
if I think if employees get back to are being willing to train people, they'll have a whole bunch of good qualified employees that other companies can benefit, and as well as the employee. It's so cutthroat, like you said. Don't nobody want to train anymore.
No, they don't.
Everybody wants.
They want to cut
Everybody.
corners. They don't want
Go
to
ahead.
pay neither. They don't want to
Oh,
train.
that's
They don't
the
want to pay.
honey. They want to pay you.
No, they
They
don't.
want to pay. Yeah, they want to pay you $7.67. Who in the world can live off that crap?
And then the cost.
They need. They need to be
Exactly.
slapped.
And then the cost of everything gets higher, and it's like you getting less and less, but you doing more, and you're paying more. I mean, isn't that's contradictory, isn't it?
Yeah, and it doesn't make sense because you have a whole lot of people losing homes.
Mm.
Their families are being torn apart because of the financial strain. And like you say, it's a shame that you don't have a lot of role models that are willing to train and take the time to input in young people, whether they in college, graduated, however. You have to put in the time. You have to see the potential that people may not see that they have.
Mm-hmm. And you have to be able to help them harness that. So would you say that it starts from home?
Of course, it starts from home. I think it starts from a solid foundation, which begins in church, based on the Word of God, and let them know what thus says the Lord. And if you put God the head of that family, God will open doors that the enemy have closed.
Oh, yes. Yes,
Because
he
I
will.
feel like with God, you can't go wrong.
Right.
He said we're going to have trials and tribulation. But he said he never seen his children beg bread. So therefore, if everybody get back to the base in the heart of our first Lord, which is Jesus Christ, we'll be better off.
So
Yeah.
then the real question is, what measures do we take to actually go back to those foundations that will help edify the communities instead of tearing apart? Like, how do we get to that point? Because somewhere along the way, things went wrong. So how do we get back, or is it possible to restore it?
I feel it is possible to restore it, but God say, go into the hedges and highway and compel my people to come unto me. Meaning, don't be so quickly to judge person by their appearance or what they may be wearing, but reach out to them in love and let them know, baby, in spite of what you have on or what people may label you as, God love you.
That's true.
And just know that in spite of, God got your back.
Right. And that's why you don't
embrace them in love.
Right.
And let them know that you don't have to live like that.
And that's why you continue on to be prayerful and keep support of your families, and no matter what they do, it's always going to be a struggle. So just don't give up. Just don't give up.
Exactly. And I just feel like people lost sight of how important family structure really is.
Mm-hmm.
Is about,
So I'm not sure if there's any one solution, but there's so many things you can try to do, and hopefully, with each individual, each individual, whatever works for you can be successful. You can find that solution within yourself.
Exactly. I couldn't have put it no better than that.
Yeah. But yeah, we do appreciate your call, Carrie Jean.
Yeah, you
had a very good insight.
intelligent.
Yeah, very insight to what you're saying. Hopefully, whatever we are trying to say and do here works for you. But like I heard you say, the one thing is that God answers prayers, and that's what we have to really trust in God for.
Yeah, because I strongly feel like this, regardless if you have a job or not. God is the source of all your supplies. He'll supply your every need. He'll make your budget run over, and people will be wondering, how is she making it?
Mm-hmm.
It's the grace of God.
Mm-hmm.
So when God be for you, who can be against you? The favor of God is amazing.
Exactly. Exactly.
And for everybody that's out there, radio man, if you don't believe me, go to a pastor in church and just ask what I'm saying.
Okay.
God is so amazing, and He loves us all. And once we go back to our first love, you'll be like, wow, this is all it took.
Hmm. That's right.
So I enjoyed you guys.
Thank
We
I
you.
enjoyed
hope
you
enjoyed
I
too,
you
was
Carrie.
too.
helpful.
Thank you, Carrie.
You're welcome. Love you guys. Take it
All
easy.
And
right.
we
Take care.
appreciate your call.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, yeah, she made a lot of very good points. I think that, though, in order to go back to the foundations, though, and really fix a lot of the problems, we have to realize where things went wrong. Be- Because I mean that the first step to solving the problem is recognizing the problem, but no, but and then, well, you have to recognize the source of the problem, because like we can all agree that, yeah, there are problems, but how do we set about fixing the problems? Well, we want to, fix things. It starts at home, for one thing. That's one thing that we've concluded from this, that it starts from home. And you have to have some kind of you have to have God involved, or have a foundation, have a strong foundation. But how do we go about setting that foundation? That's the thing, because like I said, like, Marie is a you can tell by the way that she talks that she cares. I mean, she's a caring mother. That's part of the reason why her sons have been able to make it as far as they have, because they have that strong foundation. But everybody doesn't have that to lean on. And when you don't have to lean on, like, I remember you my Nicola, she suggested that we have outreach programs. Outreach programs. What type of outreach programs did you have in mind? Like, centered around anything in particular, or just?
Well, it could be something from your church. Your church can have like after school programs, or your school can have after school programs, or even like the YMCA or the Girls and Boys Club. I mean, um they're not strict programs where they're going to teach you a lot of parenting skills, but they will teach kids responsibility. And that's a big deal. A lot of kids are not respectful. A lot of kids are just they're raising themselves because both parents have to work. And I think giving them structure, letting them know no means no, yes means yes, giving them something to do to keep their mind busy is very important, as opposed to just letting the kids sit at home, watch TV, cooking a TV dinner up and going to bed. I think they need something to stimulate them, keep them going. Different.
Activities.
Yes,
They
yes,
need to have their minds stimulated, because as our caller pointed out, they children need somebody to be able to recognize their potential, so that it can be harnessed.
exactly.
And a
Exactly.
lot of times potential is wasted, because, like, TV is one major time waster. Video games is
Yes,
sometimes can be a time
even
waster
for
too.
adults.
Yeah, for anybody, because those things are addictive. You
Yes,
ever
they are.
you get into them, and I know they cheat, because I know a cheater one. But video games, but see, that's a lot of distractions. But I remember mentioning that we need to become more self-reliant. If we instill those values in ourselves, if we teach ourselves certain things, then it makes it possible for us to pass that down to children. So do you think that somewhere along the way, maybe the parents, uh, somehow they didn't learn some certain values, or maybe something along the way was lost, and then they didn't have that legacy to pass down to their children, in order to ensure that their children are more prepared than they were?
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, everybody, every family is different, and but you got to understand that first of all, you have to be a parent. I mean, we're talking about both parents, not just one. We all have to raise these children, like they say, no child left behind. And I just believe that if you have a good foundation, mentally, spiritually, physically, you would do okay. No one's perfect. So, of course, we're going to do things that are not right. But at the same time, if you guide your child in the right way that they should go, hopefully they, don't go off too far. But I do have 4 boys, and I was a home mom mostly, and that kind of helps. When you're out in the field working and stuff, it's a little hard to be at home, to help your child with homework or just to be there for them. I was there for them, and it really does make a difference. Although it doesn't, I also worked, so it doesn't mean that you can't work and also be a part of your children's life. But I was really in their mainstream life. I was there for their schooling. I was there for their, just to get through life. I was always there, and so I think that helped them. And to this day, my boys are very, very mature. Um, now they're doing the things that I've taught them, which kind of makes me feel good because I'm thinking, if these kids ever learn the things that I taught them, oh yeah, I've seen it for myself. They don't have to they don't have to tell me anything. I see it, so I'm impressed. But like I said, everybody don't get that. I wish we all could, because this world would be a much better place. But at the same time, it's never too late. You can always stop and say, you know what, what's going on? What am I doing wrong? Let me try to do this right.
And then the people who are fortunate enough to have what your sons have, a lot of times, I think sometimes in order to be grateful for what you have, you have to realize uh, how many people don't have it. Because a lot of times people are blessed with, and they're fortunate enough to have what your sons have. But sometimes I wonder if like if growing up we really know how to appreciate it. Like sometimes people will say, they don't appreciate it, but then again, do they really know if somebody isn't really exposed to some of the iniquities and some of the atrocities of the world, how do they become aware of it to really be grateful for what they have? Because they don't like us, for instance. We know what it's like to have clean water, and in some countries you can't drink the water's not pure, so we take for granted that we have clean water, but so we don't think anything of you know throwing some, people might throw a bottle of water away or something. I know that might
Hmm.
not be the best example, but what I'm saying is, like, a lot of children, when they grow up with good parenting, do you think that it's possible for them to realize that that they're fortunate that because a lot of kids don't have what they have, or like maybe I don't know how to quite articulate what I'm trying to say, but bless you.
Well,
Ni-
you're not gonna always, this is not a perfect world, so there's gonna always be suffering. There's always gonna be the poor. I mean, et cetera, and bad parenting, good parenting. I mean, it's just that wherever you as a person can find yourself in a situation where you could always be of service, I always say just do what you can do.
oh, we have one caller to end the show out. One more caller. Caller, you on the air? Caller, you on the
Hello?
air? Hi.
Hi.
Yes.
You're live on air for
What's your
the.
na- What's your name?
Hello?
Hi. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Hi. You're live on the air for the Ain't That Some radio show.
Okay.
We got a couple minutes left. You'll be our last caller for the night.
What's your name?
Nate?
Okay,
Oh,
Nate.
So what are your thoughts, Nate, on tonight's show? Like, what do you think about the topics we've discussed?
Yeah, I'm tripping.
Nate, we were just talking about how hard it is um for kids to
Or not only that, we were talking
sorry.
about how some children are raised up with good
hmm
parenting, and other children are basically out there just to fend for themselves. What is your intake on that?
Can you repeat that again?
We were talking about children being raised and how there's good parenting, there's bad parenting, but we all can't obviously get the good parenting. So, what is your intake on that? You have 1 minute.
Hmm. Well, I just think that with parenting, everybody is raised differently. So with that being said, I just think that parenting just goes back down to, how it was different within each generation. So to say that, certain parenting is bad or, what have you, there's always a cause
Right.
to every
Cause
every
and effect.
negative or positive aspect to parenting.
That's
So
true.
there's always a source.
That's true.
So to say it's unfair, I'm not sure that that's the right word for it, or if it's bad or good. I mean, it's just parenting is different just based on what's happened,
In your situation.
differently within each generation.
Right.
Well, we appreciate your call, and we hate to cut it
Yeah.
short, but this we actually it's time for us to wrap things up, and we do appreciate your call, sir, and we hope
No
that you
problem.
have a good night, and feel free. We come on every Tuesday from 8. We start at 8. So you if you ever want to call in at another time too, we look forward to it, Nate.
Okay.
And I'm here with Nicola and Marie. And until next time, we thank you. And until next time, have a good day and take care.
Yes. God
Bye.
bless.
God bless.